As you know, with my channel, what I'm trying to do is reach out to the average person, or if you're more experienced in all this, how to explain this to the average person or a friend or family or whoever it is that you might be showing. What I want to try and do with this particular video is let's turn everything on its head, rather than the typical way that this is shown to everybody, which is incident happens, it's on the television, you get to see just lots of different things going on all at once, so you can't focus on any one thing. Or if you go online and read an article, the article is huge, so you don't really read it, you just sort of go through the pictures really quickly and sort of get an overview. Imagine if they reported these things the way we look at them, which is you get one solid piece of footage and you focus on every little detail within that piece of footage. So what we're going to do is I will play this particular footage, which is a guy walking and effectively looking at all the bodies that are on the floor, and I want to point out some things whilst it's playing. So here goes. So the fella first off is German, so the first thing I did is got in touch with somebody I know who speaks German and asked him to translate what he is saying as it's going along. He said to me that this guy is describing that a lorry has driven through this Christmas market and that people have been hit, but one of the things he'd said to me, and he's not into all this sort of stuff, is he just said it just seems odd how calm this guy is talking, to say he's almost first on the scene reporting this. But when you're looking at it from our point of view, you're going to be looking at it thinking, wait, where have I seen this kind of thing before? For me, I've seen this in Melbourne. There was a person walking up and down the pavement looking at the bodies. They don't look at the bodies for too long because, one, they don't want you to sort of look at them and go, well, they don't look that injured. They don't focus on their faces, that's for sure. And that was the same with Nice, and it was the same with Westminster, and I'm sure there's others as well. So same again. You know, he's walking up and down, and he seems calm. He's not helping, which you think you would. I mean, at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a terror attack, and he's not exactly doing anything. He's just describing what he says has happened. And the reason behind that is this isn't what they're going to show you in the news. They're not just going to play this in any one go. They might show you a snippet of it, and therefore it will be only a particular snippet of it where he might sound a bit more panicked than usual. But then when they're trying to portray panic, when you actually look at this in one sort of big picture, one long go, you'll realise that there is no panic. There's some people that are still walking about as if they're still shopping. He turns the camera around and you'll see people that are supposedly walking past bodies, and at the end of the day 12 people are supposed to have died in this particular occasion, and yet people are just walking by as if nothing's going on. 1 minute you could hear the police sirens and you saw a police car, but now you can't. If they are on the scene, they're certainly not doing anything, taking the sweet time getting there. There's no ambulances, so once again you've got it whereby it's only civilians that are helping the injured, which seems strange, but also a consistent common theme, where when these things happen, it's the civilians that seem to be helping everybody rather than the emergency services, and that doesn't matter what event it is, it seems to be that way. But again, I can't stress enough as to how little panic there is with this particular thing. You've got people there, look, they're just standing around. Are they standing around in a queue, or are they just been told to keep away? Can you hear anybody screaming for help? Because there's no ambulances on the scene. Can you hear anything at all? I mean, it weren't just 12 people dead, there was supposedly quite a lot injured as well, but we're still not seeing anything, and we're not hearing anything, and nothing seems to be going on. And at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a terror attack. We're going to see in a second that this guy gets his camera knocked out of his hand. I don't know what that's about or why it's been done. Maybe he shouldn't be filming, or he's filming too long. Who knows, but he gets it knocked out of his hand, so I'll just let it play through so I can carry on talking about something else.
Moment, die Menschen sind natürlich auch.
I don't know if it's for effect or what it is, but it just seems really odd. And then when he does look to his left, look, there's like a policeman there. You can see the cuffs in his pocket. Why is he not going to help the people that are injured? Look, you can see it just in his back pocket there. Is he the guy who knocked his camera out of his hand? I don't really know what that's all about. So anyway, same sort of thing. We've got a guy who's not really doing anything. You've got the public not really doing anything. It's all too quiet for something where Don't forget, this guy, he jumped out of the cab with a gun because he'd shot the guy, he nicked the lorry off, and then went on the run. Nobody's acting like that's what's happened. The word's not spreading. I mean, in some other events that we see, when these things happen, the herd mentality kicks in and people are scattering everywhere. We saw it with Westminster with the group of people stood in the middle of the road that suddenly started running. Just business as usual. I mean, not to mention that when this did happen, they reopened it really quickly in order to carry on the Christmas market, because at the end of the day, money's money, so they're obviously going to do that. But anyway, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here. I mean, we're not going to see very much. Feel free to get this translated if you've got the piece of footage yourself. But he's not saying anything, he's not talking about anything significant, he's just talking about what happened. But he's doing it in a manner which is just too calm, and that's my problem with it. When he does come around the corner and finally gets walking towards the lorry, again, you're going to see, similar to the other side of the fence, there's nothing going on. There's no rush of police trying to hunt this guy down as they tried to make out in the papers. And remember, the reason why we're doing this video and the order I'm trying to do it in is so that you can see that if you played this on the television, most of the people would be going, well, it doesn't sound as bad as they make out. And that's the problem. They don't want you to have your own opinion on the matter. They want to give you what has happened, and that's the narrative. So again, as you can see, as he's walking towards the lorry, you'll see that it's damaged as per the picture I showed you in my previous video, but you're not going to see anything really going on around it. You've got a few people standing around, and I'll point out in another video that they are the ones that are likely to have put all this stuff next to the lorry. But let's just look at it logically. Where are the police? You know, there's supposed to be a manhunt underway, or there should be a manhunt underway because they can't find the driver. But the police just walking about, nothing really going on. And the same, this guy's just talking away as if it's no big deal. And he's quite happy to, walk up to this. Who knows who's still in there? If there was somebody still in there, but no, nobody seems to be caring. And that's my biggest problem with this piece of footage. Nothing is going on. Nothing much is going on, and when really, in comparison to the papers, which is what I'm trying to do here, is show you the difference between what the papers and telly would tell you in comparison to what you actually see. It's just not the same, it's not comparable, and you're within your rights to say why doesn't this match up to what I have been told. And that's where you start leading yourself into critical thinking, because that's how you should be looking at these things. So as I say, we're doing everything in reverse, so now we get to see what the papers told you in comparison to what you've just seen. So you've got this American couple here who describe seeing 2 rivers of blood going down the floor after the attacker mounted a curb and deliberately drove into crowds of people. Now, if you have seen an incident and you do describe it as 2 rivers of blood, it's quite gruesome, and you would only really use that phrase if you did in fact see pools of blood or rivers of blood. I didn't see rivers of blood, so it seems odd that you'd use that phrase. And then you've got this particular woman here who said that she saw blood and bodies everywhere. Again, I didn't see anything like that, and this is it. If you see the footage first and then get the witness statements after, you can then go, that's not right, that can't be right, and that's where you're able to question these things in greater detail, and you shouldn't be seen as being foolish for doing so. I've got more footage to show you on this particular event, and to be honest, as we go through it, you'll realise how more and more damning it actually is in comparison to what they said has happened. And ultimately that's what we're trying to do here. In one hand, we're trying to prove to people that these things are faked, but even on the other hand, at the very least, we just want people to go, take an extra 5 minutes and say, something doesn't look right with this because I've seen this piece of footage, or I've seen that picture which doesn't match up to this. You know, that's what we're trying to achieve here. So I'll get on to my next video as quickly as I can, because there's quite a few bits to cover on this particular event before we can move on. So thanks very much for watching.